Good day everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's lesson, we'll be discussing quadratic equation by completing the square method. Here are the processes of using completing the square method to solve quadratic equation. I got these processes from the learning guide which I created specifically for this tutorial. If you check the description box below, you'll see the link to the learning guide. Do download it so that you can see other solved examples and evaluation which you can use to test your knowledge and skill in quadratic equation using completing the square method after this tutorial. Now, these are the processes of using completing the square method to solve quadratic equation. We have 8 processes here. We'll follow them step by step to solve the following examples, which we'll be discussing in today's video. Let's look at example 1. We have x squared minus 7x plus 10. Now, rule number 1 says set one side of the equation to 0. So we'll be setting one side of the equation to 0, which will give us the right hand side of this equation. Rule number 2 says if a is not equal to 1, divide all values by a. Now coming to the question, the coefficient of s squared is 1, which is our value for a. It is actually 1. So we do not need to divide through by the coefficient of s squared, which is 1. So we can go to rule number 3. It says rewrite the equation so that both terms containing variables are on one side of the equation and the constant is on the other side. So both terms containing variables are s squared and 7x. They remain on this side, then plus 10 crosses over to the other side. So we'll be having s squared minus 7x equals to, when plus 10 crosses the equation sign, we'll be having minus 10. Now rule number 4. Take half of the coefficient of x and square the value. The coefficient of x will have 7 here. So we'll take half of 7. We have 7 times half, which will give me 7 over 2. So we'll square 7 over 2. We'll have 7 over 2 squared. Rule number 5. It says add the square to both sides. So we're adding 7 over 2 squared to both sides of the equation. Minus 7x plus 7 over 2 squared equals to minus 10 plus 7 over 2 squared. Rule number 6. Left hand side should now be a perfect square trinomial. Write it as a square of binomial. So this is a perfect square trinomial. This is a perfect square trinomial. So I'll have to write it as a square of binomial. It becomes x minus 7 over 2 square equal to, the right hand side remains the same, minus 10 plus 7 over 2 square. We'll go to rule number 7. Take the square root of both sides of the equation. So now we need to take the square root of both sides of the equation. The aim is to eliminate the square on the left hand side. S minus 7 over 2 square equals to plus or minus. We'll be adding plus or minus to this equation because this is quadratic equation where we need to get 2 answers for our x or variable. Square root cancels square. We'll be left with s minus 7 over 2 equal to plus or minus root minus 10 plus. Now the square of 7 gives us 49 over the square of 2 gives us 4. We'll go to the next rule. It says move over any constant term to solve for x. Now the constant term in this equation is minus 7 over 2. So we'll move minus 7 over 2 to the right hand side to get a value for x. X equal to, when minus 7 over 2 crosses the equation sign, we'll have positive 7 over 2 plus or minus root minus 10 plus 49 over 4. Now we'll have to express this equation further to get the value of x. X equal to 7 over 2 plus or minus root. The LCM here is 4. 4 divided by 1 gives us 4 times minus 10. We'll have minus 40 plus 4 divided by 4 is 1 times 49. We'll have 49. X equal to 7 over 2 plus or minus root. Minus 40 plus 49 is 9 over 4. X equals to 7 over 2 plus or minus root 9 gives us 3 over root 4 gives us 2. So we have to split the sign plus or minus separately to get 2 answers for x. We'll have x equal to 7 over 2 plus 3 over 2 or 7 over 2 minus 3 over 2. S equal to, the LCM here is 2. 2 divided by 2, 1 times 7, 7, plus 2 divided by 2, 1 times 3, 3. Or LCM is also 2. 2 into 1 times 7, 7, minus 2 into 1 times 3, 3. The value becomes x equal to 7 plus 3 gives us 10 over 2, or 7 minus 3 gives us 4 over 2. X equals to 10 divided by 2 gives us 5, or 4 divided by 2 gives us 2. So these are the value for x. X equal to 5 or 2. We move to question number 2. It says 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. Now let's start with the first rule. Set one side of the equation equal to 0. So this is it, equal to 0. Rule number 2, if a is not equal to 1, divide all values by a. Now a in our question here is 2, which is the coefficient of x squared. So we divide all value by 2. Over 2, over 2, over 2. 2 into, which is 1. So we'll have s squared plus 5 over 2x plus 3 over 2 equal to 0. Rule number 3 says we write the equation so that both terms containing variable are on one side and the other side contains the constant. So we'll be having s squared plus 5 over 2x equal to, when plus 3 over 2 crosses equation sign, minus 3 over 2. Rule number 4. It says take half of the coefficient of x and square the value. In our question here, the coefficient of x is 5 over 2. So we'll take 5 over 2 and find half of it, which is times 1 over 2, which will give me 5 over 4. So we square the value. This is it. Now, rule number 5 says add the square to both sides. So we'll add 5 over 4 squared to both sides of the equation. It gives us s squared plus 5 over 2x plus 5 over 4 square equal to minus 3 over 2 plus 5 over 4 square. Rule number 6 says left hand side should now be a perfect trinomial. Now this is a perfect trinomial, so we have to express it as a square of binomial, which is x plus 5 over 4 square equal to minus 3 over 2 plus square of 5 gives us 25 over square of 4 gives us 16. So rule number 7 says take the square root of both sides of the equation. The square root of both sides of the equation will have s plus 5 over 4 square equal to plus or minus square root minus 3 over 2 plus 25 over 16. Square root cancels square. We'll be left with s plus 5 over 4 equal to plus or minus root minus 3 over 2 plus 25 over 16. Now we'll go down to the last row. It says move over any constant term to solve for x. Now the constant term here is 5 over 4. Move it to the right hand side to get only the value of x, which is s equal to minus 5 over 4. That is when plus 5 over 4 crosses equation sign. Minus 5 over 4 plus or minus root minus 3 over 2 plus 25 over 16. Now we express continuously to get the value of x. X equal to minus 5 over 4 plus or minus root. The LCM of 2 and 16 gives us 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 8 times minus 3 minus 24 plus 16 divided by 16 is 1 times 25 gives us 25. X is equal to minus 5 over 4 plus or minus root. Minus 24 plus 25 gives us 1 all over 16. X is equal to minus 5 over 4 plus or minus the square root of 1 is 1 all over the square root of 16 is 4. So we have to split the plus or minus sign to get our separate answer for x. X equal to minus 5 over 4 plus 1 over 4 or minus 5 over 4 minus 1 over 4. X equals to, the LCM here is 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times minus 5 plus 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times 1, 1. Or LCM is 4. 4 divided by 4, 1 times minus 5 minus 4 divided by 4, 1 times 1, 1. x equals to minus 5 plus 1 is minus 4 over 4, or minus 5 minus 1 is minus 6 over 4. X equal to, we'll break this down to the lowest term. 4 here, 1, 4 here, 1. This becomes minus 1, or 2 in 6, 3, 2 in 4 gives us 2, so minus 3 over 2. This is the final answer. Our x is minus 1 or minus 3 over 2. Do not forget to check the description box for the link to the learning guide. You'll see other solved problems and evaluations for you to try your hands on. Then any question you have after solving the evaluation, you should bring them to me. I will definitely be willing to help. If you find this video helpful, give us a thumbs up, drop a comment in the comment section, share this to your friends and loved ones, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you in my next class. Bye.